Family members of one of the victims of a Kaduna train attack are celebrating as their loved one regains freedom. But they are also appealing to the Nigerian government to intensify efforts to secure the release of those still being held.
That's right. And Arise News can reveal those still in the terrorist den are being tortured on an almost daily basis. Our correspondent Nisi Gabriel reports.
Actually, the people are heavily armed. We saw some of their armory. They have sophisticated weapons that even not only the Jamaatul Sinna or Dawat fi Jihad, there are other bandits inside the forest, and those bandits are also armed with sophisticated weapons, and they have even undertaken to continue launching this kind of attack on government's interest.
Terrifying tales of his ordeal in captivity. A journey of 2 hours took more than 100 days. They were camped deep in the forest with the terrorists and held hostage for almost 4 months.
Nobody wants to lose freedom, and we captured, which was very traumatic, traumatizing. We're not happy. Although our captives, they try to make us feel at home. They try their best to make us feel at home. They looked after us. They provided medical service, to the best of their capabilities. In fact, at the stage, they even give us money. That's, look, if they can't get something for us, we should use this money to buy whatever we want to buy on our own. But still, nobody wants to be caged. Everybody wants freedom.
We were taken through a bad experience. We worked for almost 3 days before we reached the camp of our captors, actually, because we are thick inside a forest that is so vast. It might cut across about 2 to 3 states.
But why was the train attacked in the first place?
Some of their members were detained by the government for several months, including small children, and they feel that they have to counter-attack the government's intention of that, and they launched that attack where they capture us, and they wanted us to be exchanged with their members, and the government refused to do that. And probably you know that in the first instance, the young children were exchanged with about 11 victims, and since then there was no any communication between them and the government for continuous exchange.
Hassan was among those recently freed after 120 days in captivity. At his family house in northwest Kaduna, there's great happiness in the air. Many have come to welcome Hassan home. His 93-year-old dad can't believe he came out alive.
Start believing, yes, it's Hassan. But his structure has changed completely. It's not the Hassan I know. It's another Hassan. But I believe he's my son, is the Hassan.
Hassan was a staunch believer in the Buhari-led administration, but has now lost faith in the government. He says those still in captivity are being tortured on a daily basis and are sick.
The condition of those people is getting worse. As you can see from the viral video, we are being beaten almost on daily basis now, and some are getting sick. The supply of drugs is not forthcoming now as it used to be. So their condition, I think, is in a bad. They are in a bad situation, in dangerous position. So I will call on the government to please do whatever is possible to see that these people are released within the shortest possible time.
Family members say they faced resistance when they initially tried to pay the ransom. The release of their loved ones ended up costing 100 million naira.
Okay, I actually don't know the exact amount. I know the kidnappers demanded 100 million naira, but negotiations were going on then. So I don't know what the agreement that was reached for them to. So I don't know. I don't actually know the amount.
For now, 39 abductees are still in captivity. Not much has been heard from the Nigerian government, but family members are making frantic efforts to get their loved ones out of terrorist den. Out of the 62 people kidnapped on March 28 on the ill-fated Kaduna-born train, 23 have regained their freedom. But the fate of the remaining 39 still in captivity hangs in the balance. Nisi Gabriel, Arise News, Kaduna.
All right, let's now bring in Hassan Othman, one of the victims who has just been freed, to talk to us about his ordeal. Thank you very much. I mean, just watching that video and your, coming together with your family, one can only imagine the emotions that would have been, running helter-skelter. But let's hear again from you. I mean, we've heard your ordeal, 100 days in captivity, and we heard in that report that you have lost confidence in this government. Now that you've regained your freedom, what are your thoughts? What are your plans?
Hello, actually, I have to thank God. I have regained my freedom, but I still have a mixed feeling that I'm happy to be freed once again, and on the other hand, I'm so sad due to the fact that those I left behind who are still in captivity and the condition they are in. So I can say I have a mixed feeling now, presently.
And let's go back to that day, Mr. Hassan. You boarded a train. How did it all play out? What happened next?
Actually, we boarded a train from Abuja to Kaduna, and few minutes to Kaduna, we had a loud blast, which I believe was a bomb planted on the rail line, and that made the train to derail and stopped at that particular place. And that was an evening ride from Abuja to Kaduna, and there was an exchange of gunfire between the police or security agent that escorted the train and those that took us into captivity, which took several minutes before they succeeded in overpowering the security agents or personnel that were escorting the train, and this made them to proceed into the train, where they held us captive and took us into the forest. And since then we have to walk for over 3 days to reach their camp, where is located inside a very thick and forest.
As a freed captive, and when you go back to the over 100 days that you spent in that place, what would you say how has that traumatic experience affected you mentally, health-wise, and all of that? And since you've been freed, has anybody from government reached you at all? What are they telling you, if they did?
Actually, that experience, since from the day of our capture up to today I was released, it has been a traumatic experience, as you said, both mentally and health-wise. Health-wise, we were kept in a place under an open space deep inside the forest, where we are so vulnerable to to reptiles there, snakes. We have killed several snakes there, scorpions and other reptiles, and we've been sleeping under trees, and come sun, come rain, that's where we are kept. It was later, after some months, when some makeshift tents were erected. So whenever there was rain, they have to move us to that place. After the rain subsided, they will bring us out into the open space where we normally spend the night.
All right, Mr. Hassan, we're so happy and glad that you're back with your family. But let me just ask you, and very quickly, will you board a train again? Will you board that train when it starts to run again?
Actually, when security measures will be enhanced and make that train to be safe for ride, I think for now I'll not take that chance to take a ride on that train again.
And nobody will blame you for that.
It's still fresh. It's still fresh in my mind.
Hassan Othman, one of the victims of the Kaduna-Abuja train abduction. Thank you so much for joining us.